Dan Rather's been one of the main people I loved when I was a kid because of all of his journalism. He was a wonderful journalist and a wonderful anchor on the CBS Evening News, and honestly, it's a wonderful breath of fresh air when it comes back in and I get to hear something that's actually legitimate critique. Legitimate critique about the war. And Dan Rather actually says something pretty worth it. And I honestly believe this critique is even though it's a little early for it, I think it's better early than late. Veteran journalist Dan Rather told Reliable Sources host Brian Stelter that the scores of pundits calling for action in Iraq, Syria, and elsewhere were remnants of the buildup in the 2003 Iraq War, which Rather called a blunder of historic proportions, and that Hawks needed to be prepared to send their own kids to battle before the cavalry recommended for others. Quoting Rather, all these people on television, some of who I have enormous respect for, it unsettles me to hear them say, listen, we, the United States, have to do something in Ukraine. We have to do something in Syria. We have to do something in the waters around China. We have to do something in Iraq. We have to do something about ISIS. What they're talking about are combat operations. My first question is to anyone who's on television saying, we have to get tough, we have to put boots on the ground, we have to go to war in one of these places is, I will hear you out if you tell me you are prepared to send your son, your daughter, your grandson, your granddaughter to that war for which you're being the drums. If you aren't, I have no patience for you, and don't even talk to me. Rather, also called upon the press corps to more forcefully prosecute the case against military action as expiation, uh, expiation for the Beltway's media's complicity in the last Iraq war. Quoting, those of us in journalism, and I include myself in this, we have a lot to answer for what we did do and what we didn't do in the run up to the war in Iraq. We, we didn't ask the right questions. We didn't ask enough questions. We didn't ask the follow up questions. We didn't challenge power. I am concerned that once again, as the war drums begin to beat and get louder and louder, that there will be a herd of mentality saying, well, we have to go to war in Syria. We have to go to war in Ukraine. I don't think it's an overstatement to say that we need to be thinking very, very carefully and seriously about this. And journalists have a special responsibility to at least ask the right questions. End of article. And that is perfectly legitimately right. We need to be actually thinking about this. We actually need to think about the situation. Like right now, do we actually have the money to go into war? Because right now we're sitting on like 17, 18 trillion dollars worth of fucking debt. I'm very sure another debt's going to put us in bankruptcy. I'm very sure we don't have the money for another bankrupt because for another war. Because I'm very sure the whole Republicans will also use that as another scandal for Obama, and it's just like, it's just like, it's just a bunch of bullshit with it, with Obama, because neocons and all these Republicans are like, well, Obama's not doing anything in the Middle East and helping, not doing anything in Iraq. They're not doing anything in it. He's not doing anything in Ukraine. He's not doing anything in Syria. And then when he actually does something, Republicans are like, or they're critiquing against his actions. And it's pretty much the whole hypocrisy card that they've been playing ever since Obama got into office. And this has been the whole bullshit that has been playing for the last couple of years. And it's been pissing me off with the Republican Party. And and to be actually fair, some Republicans are actually getting so fed up with the neocon warhawk machine that they're actually leaving the fucking Republican Party and becoming either independents or going over into Democratic. Because they had enough of the shit. because they had enough of this war machine. They're done with the whole war hawk, warmongering bullshit. And the thing is, and these warmongers, they're not willing to send their fucking kids out to do the war. They're too fucking scared. Because if we impose the draft again, I bet you $5 they will not have their kids go back in that war. They will never have those kids go in the war. They won't. Unless they implement some kind of law, some kind of scenario or situation that gives them some kind of pass or something like that. Yeah, my leg's itchy, but that's besides the point. And it's just like, and Dan Rather's noticing the whole war drums, they're beating again. And so am I. And so is many other people in the whole media spectrum, mainly alternative, who are just like, we're noticing this war drum. We're not that dumb, and we're not going to sit here and fall and take the bait again of the whole Iraq war. We're in the internet age this time. We're not dumb. We're not as dumb as what you think we are. So if you think we're going to go into war because, oh no, there's something over there, we need to be thinking about our own fucking selves for once, because it seems like we're the fucking world police. We need to stop going across the whole fucking world, and we need to actually think about ourselves for once. We need to actually rebuild our country, rebuild the infrastructure of our country, rebuild our schools, rebuild our hospitals and stuff, than worrying about what some little dim-wit fucking terrorist group is doing out in the Middle East. If someone wants to take care of that, let Britain, let Australia, let someone else take care of it. Let Russia, for fuck's sakes, let someone else take care of the situation. You can send aid, fine. Don't send soldiers. We don't need to be sending boots on the ground or anything like that. And that's what's starting to piss me off. It's just, we gotta be in war. We can barely be out of fucking war and into peacetime. We have to be in some kind of fucking war. Because it's about this fucking private industry as well. Private contractors who pretty much just like, oh, we got to build war machines. We got to do this and this. And that's where police brutality is now starting to form. And pretty much it's a cesspool of bullshit. And you wonder why the military complex and pretty much the police brutality issues are so out of whack. It's because of this shit right here. It's the warmongers that start this shit, and it expands and expands and expands and expands as this bubble is. And trust me, once the war drums start beating and they start getting more and more drums adding onto it, that bubble's gonna get bigger and bigger until it busts and we get into a war. So someone needs to deflate the bubble before that bubble gets too big and pops. That's all I gotta say. Well, pretty much compare it to a balloon. Pretty much. Someone needs to get pretty much get the person away from the pump before he blows it up and starts a whole fucking war. So as what Dan Rather says, and I agree with him fully, and I'm gonna say it to the Neohawks as well. If you want to go to fucking war, how about you put your kids' lives, your grandkids' lives, your great-great-grandkids' lives on the line? How about you put your fucking your immediate family's lives on the line? How about you put up or shut up? Because you know what? We're getting sick of this war drum. If you want to beat the war drum and you want us to get into a war, then you better put something up on the fucking table. Because we're not going to sit here and get into a war because you want to get involved. Not because we want to get involved. That's just the fucking issue about it. If you want to get involved in the war, you better put something up. Because that starts, because if your kids and stuff gets immunity or anything like that, while we have to send our kids and stuff off to pretty much fight for your fucking wars that you don't want to participate in at all, you all can go fuck yourselves. And honestly, you guys can take your paper right here and resign. Here's your paper, and here's your pen. Fucking resign and get the fuck out of Congress. Because if all you're going to do is try to get us into another war, just fucking resign. Because I'm not sitting here and paying for another fucking war. I'm a fucking taxpayer. I'm a student. I already have enough. I already have to worry about fucking college debt already. I'm not paying for another fucking war. And that's just the legitimate fucking truth.